To the highly respected Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Gina Oy Espanyol, to our research professor, Dr. Alona Medalla Gabehan, Co-Ed Research Coordinator, Professor Rosabel R. Tambor Sablat, Qualitative Research Expert, Professor Jonil C. Bahado, Quantitative Research Expert, Professor Julian M. Kilatan, to Professor Jake Boy Carbonquillo, and to our research advisor, Professor Manilin S. Sablat. Good day! We will be presenting our study titled Teachers' Experiences in Teaching Multilingual Education via Distance Learning. Before moving on, I would like to introduce to you the researchers, starting with Eliza Tagana, Melanie Serondo, Marian Abalos, Jacqueline Dakupanan, Danilyn Unay, Rubian Tuazon, and yours truly, Eldrian Haba. For the rationale, we have Ms. Tagana.
The advent of COVID-19 pandemic has modified the world's learning method. To support this claim, according to TELE 2020, in Europe and Asia, for example, barely 20% to 30% of countries equip teachers with remote education training. Teachers with limited distance education skills may find it very difficult to carry out this process effectively on their own. Moreover, HING 2020 stated that teachers are facing formidable challenges, whether educating students in masked up, social distant classrooms, or virtually in computer screens. Furthermore, Stavely 2020 mentioned that many researchers, parents, and teachers are worried that students learning English are not getting the assistance or dialect instruction they require amid separate learning. As per Garcia 2020, he stated that involvement tells us that instructors will be there to guarantee that understudies are instructed and school revive, which is fundamental to permit for the economic recovery.
The researchers have found out two problem statements. First, how do they perceive teaching multilingual education via distance learning? Second, what are their experiences in teaching multilingual education via distance learning? So these two problem statements served as our research questions or guide to conduct our data gathering in finding out the result of our study.
For the research design, this study employed qualitative approach using an exploratory research design, which aims to know the experiences of teachers in teaching multilingual education via distance learning. So, since we are the first one who conducted this study, we intend to explore the effect of teaching multilingual education in the new learning scheme.
This study consists of 10 participants, which is the total enumeration of the teachers from grades 1 to 3 of Yabon Central Elementary School.
For the instrumentation, this study employed a semi-structured interview in gathering information from the respective participants. By using this, the researchers have established a predetermined but open-ended questions to guide the conversation and enable the participants to stay focused with the topic. Through this, the participants gave responses that enabled a more thorough and comprehensive data. Furthermore, questions were structured in correspondence to the problem statement.
In the data gathering procedure, after the validation of the instrument, the researchers have secured first a letter of request or a written approval from the certified research personnel of Summer State University, from the Interagency Task Force for conducting a face-to-face interview in consideration with the safety health protocols, from the principal of the Yabon Central Elementary School, and from all participants of this study. After the researchers have been given an approval, the process of the interview have already conducted. For the selection of the participants or the first interviewee, the researchers used inclusion criterion since all participants are selected in total enumeration. And during the process of the interview, there were only 2 members of the group who interact or ask questions to the participants, and the other members are for the process of recording the interview. For the data analysis, the researchers used manual thematic analysis, and according to Brown and Clark 2020, there are 6 processes of this analysis. The first one is the familiarization of the data. The second one is coming up with different codes. And the third one is generating themes. And the fourth one, reviewing the themes. And the fifth one, naming and defining themes. And the last one is writing up the analysis.
The researchers have come up with themes which have been extracted from the codes that has been taken from the gathered data. These themes correspond to each of the interview questions, and each of these has specified sub-themes which have been used to further elaborate the data in the discussion. The first extracted theme was teaching languages, where participants defined multilingual education as the process of teaching the languages, mother tongue, which is Waray-Waray, Filipino, and English. The second extracted theme states that assessment and bridging of language is difficult to teach, which implies that in teaching multilingual education, it has been never easy for the teachers because they are more used in teaching in the face-to-face scheme, and they don't have profound knowledge on integrating these 3 languages. The third theme was there is a great discrepancy between face-to-face and distance learning in relation to teaching and the learning process. Results show that face-to-face learning scheme has greater impact since there was physical and social interaction between teachers and students, whereas distance learning has a lesser possibility that students would actually learn. The similarity between the two is the difficulty in teaching multilingual education both in face-to-face and in distance learning scheme. The fourth theme was learning resources are not fully sufficient in teaching multilingual education. Learning resources are more accessible for teachers because some of the learning materials are being provided by the Department of Education, but these are still not enough to aid them since they are only limited. On the students' part, it is inconvenient because some of them cannot afford gadgets which are necessary for blended learning. The final extracted theme was innovation of teaching strategies appropriate in distance learning. Results showed that participants developed improvised teaching materials to better provide the learning needs of the students that were aligned to their interests. They also adopted alternative means such as limited face-to-face home visitation, but this has been stopped due to current health issues. It has been found out that there is no specific strategy or methods suitable for teaching multilingual education in distance learning because teachers are finding it difficult to teach language since they have limited interactions with their students. The results provided in the findings and discussion are supported by the participants' answers, which have been transcribed from the recorded interview.
Therefore, this research proposes 2 emerging phases in this context, negative and positive. However, it can be inferred that the negative result is more emphasized. However, despite of these adversities, and the teaching practice on one hand shows a positive impact. Multilingual education in distance learning enables teachers to be more flexible and committed to their careers. According to Larson 2020, teachers are making connection in every possible ways. Additionally, Miller 2019 stated that distance education and homeschool teachers can explore and do many things beyond the normal curriculum. This shows that with the challenges that continues to emerge throughout this pandemic, there are still possible positive outcomes that can inspire enthusiasm and fulfill one's mission.
Finally, future researchers should be on the lookout for fresh findings that could suffice the significance of this research.